Hello, my name is Mahmoud. I am a lecturer at South Valley University, Egypt. On behalf of all authors, it's our great pleasure to present our paper entitled A Pathway to Implement AL-TST Model in Hybrid Classroom. In the 14th edition of the International Conference Innovation in Language Learning. Agenda for my presentation includes active learning in hybrid classroom, challenges of active learning in higher education, the AL-TST model, implementation of AL-TST model in hybrid classroom, adapting learning strategies and technologies, discussion, limitation, and future work of our research. Active learning is teaching students how to study, share knowledge, think critically, solve problems, and help students to build the required skills and knowledge by themselves. Learning is important. It helps students to understand the knowledge and the skills, besides engaging them to practice the learning activities. So, enhancing active learning is a necessary for higher education student. Hybrid classroom is not a choice today. After COVID-19 pandemic, using technology in conventional classrooms is important and it is required, and sometimes teachers must use. Hybrid classroom is a way of combining face-to-face teaching interaction with digital learning technology. In hybrid classroom, some interaction are carried out face-to-face and the other using computer-mediated environment. Hybrid classroom face some challenges today. Hybrid classroom is still new to higher education. And there are no detailed guidelines for practicing hybrid learning in many institutions. And there is no learning model for using hybrid learning. And enhancing active learning in hybrid classroom is a challenge, because teachers in higher education play the central role and they emphasize theoretical components. Besides, guidelines for social distancing because of COVID-19 make enhancing active learning is difficult. Adopting hybrid learning in education become necessary, and designing active learning model is overlooked. Therefore, we focused on designing active learning model and implementing this model in the hybrid classroom in higher education. Active learning TST model has three main components that can be integrated for enhancing active learning in the hybrid classroom. The fundamental theory behind designing the AL-TST model is constructivism theory. This theory is representing the first sector or component in the model. It includes cognitive construction and social construction. The second component or the second sector in this model is learning strategies. Actually, active learning strategy is a lot, but we choose some of them which can be practiced in higher education, such as brainstorming, pause for reflection, self-assessment, and group discussion. The third sector in this model is learning technologies. And many technologies can be used for enhancing active learning. For example, Google Classroom, Flickr, Easy Class, Edmodo, Brainwriting, eTest, Zoom, WebEx, and online brainstorming. We implement AL-TST model in the radio and television department at South Valley University in multimedia production course. And the initial participant in the experiment were 40 students, and 2 of them withdrew later. All participants were voluntary participants and were assigned into one experimental group. For using AL-TST model in hybrid classroom or multimedia production course, the content was designed as student-centered content. And learning materials includes multimedia file, PowerPoint, video files which uploaded in YouTube. And we used learning materials that were uploaded in South Valley University ELearning platform. Moreover, students can use Egyptian Knowledge Bank, which has thousands of valuable learning materials related to multimedia production. The learning environment includes conventional class in the university where students can interact face-to-face with their mates and teachers. Besides that, students use Zoom or WebEx for synchronized digital interaction. Collaborative is important, and collaborative in active learning is very important. So we used WhatsApp as a tool for organizing the learning session, for exchanging student opinion, and for presenting the model answer after the formative assessment. Student assessment include Google Form formative assessment. For each session, student had to answer quiz, and teachers discuss the model answer with them. After that, all students attend the midterm in conventional environment, and they also attend project assessment, and they prepare a multimedia file which they use knowledge and skills that they learned in the course. At the end of the course, all students attended the final exam for measuring students' achievement in multimedia production course. For adapting AL-TST model, hybrid classroom instructor should role as a facilitator, and it's agree with learning theory sector in the model and learning strategies. The teacher organizes the learning activities. Is also agree with learning theory sector and learning strategies. The course content should be designed as student-centered content. And this is also agree with learning theory and learning strategies. Learning content should be designed as a multimedia format. And this is agree with the whole AL-TST model component, learning theory, strategies, and technologies. Upload learning materials in e-learning platform is important, and it's related to learning technologies. Students studied the lecture materials before attending the hybrid class, and can help them to be active. And it's agree with learning theory and learning strategies. Student should be active in the class and ready to answer the questions. And this is agree with learning theory and strategies. Students collaborated with each other in the course, and it's important for practicing learning activities, and it's agree with learning theory, strategies, and technology. Communication applications is very helpful to support the student to ask help and receive feedback, and it's agree with learning theory and strategies. AL-TST model, adopting e-learning methodology and strategies for learning center learning, incorporates a learner's concrete experience, reflective observations, idea development, and active experimentation lead to achieving experimental learning. Formative assessment in AL-TST model is used to improve interactive and collaborative learning beside designing sustained and meaningful learning. Feedback and e-feedback role is to promote active learning in hybrid classroom. AL-TST model supports enhancing active learning in the hybrid classroom. There is some limitation and future work need to be done. For example, the AL-TST model still need to be validated with more courses in various learners stages and learning context. And this model need to be validated in enhancing student positive attitudes. So only improving achievements is not enough, or improving student skills in producing multimedia is not enough. It is required to present the AL-TST model to experts in education, instruction technology, and psychology. Here, you can read the references that we used in the paper and in the presentation. Contributors for this work, also Dr. Muhammad Nihal Hassanin and Professor Hiroshi Yoda. Thank you for listening.